So our next speaker is Paris Cockinos from Sphere Group, who are a fast-paced, multi-disciplinary technology company delivering end-to-end ecosystem across the drone and robotics market. So if you could put your hands together, please, for the team who brought you Spot, the robotic dog.
Thanks, Brew. Wow, what a turnout. If it wasn't for the agricultural sector, I'd probably be in better shape myself. But for myself, I've just come back from a trip from Singapore and I'm a bit jet lagged at the moment, so sitting on 2 hours sleep. But look, I'm very fortunate enough to bring these technologies to you all. So I just want to get a raise of hands. How many of us have operated a drone before? Wow, it's a great crowd. And then on our rural properties, how many of us have actually operated a drone? Can we get a hand up there as well? All right, awesome. And no doubt, anyone that's got children or know someone within the PlayStation gaming environment, there's people out there. But what I just want to prescribe is, that's where I started. I was a gamer. I grew up age 4 flying model helicopters or trying to fly model helicopters. I guess similar to the agriculture market, you've got dangerous pieces of equipment. You've got the helicopters that I'm playing with at age 4. You're probably putting your children into slashes and all that sort of stuff. But for me, it was the first $10,000 that my dad gave me to buy 5 drones. That 5 drones now turned into me feeding families across my business with a team of 40. So as time progresses, our business has turned into an environment where we've supported organisations like Surf Lifesaving Australia to roll out a drone program and robotic program of 0 to 250. We've worked alongside water utilities companies to roll out a proprietary hardware product of ours called Nero, which samples the water of our community. And for us, we see that as a future product within the market to sample our world's water. We've seen the Boston Dynamics Spot with us today, and all in all, that solution there is rolled out across a various range of industries. But enough about me. I want to talk about this slide here today. This slide is what we're calling the Great Drone Convergence. Right now in Australia, there's the best part of 30,000 drones in market. I think it's 32,000 to be exact. Yep, bang on. By 2030, there's going to be 110-odd thousand drones. And if you have a look at one of the largest sectors that are going to adopt this technology, it is going to be the ag space. As it stands today, the ag business itself has so many applications and so many different use cases, but it's the yellow curve that's probably the most interesting to us all. The yellow curve right there, as we see it, is what we're calling the autonomous drone market. That autonomous drone market is one that is all built on automation. Now, the one thing that's really hasn't enabled the agriculture market to adopt these technologies is purely the technology itself. Now, Australia's landmass is occupied by, 51% of it is occupied by agriculture. A lot of us are owned, operated family businesses, and as the technology stands today, we've got drones and robots that are operating for the best part of 30 to 40 minutes. Back in 2014, when I started this business, it was just 8. What does that look like in 5-10 years' time? You're talking 4-5 hours. To making those beyond visual line of sight operations that can fly extra long is one of the parts of the parcel that will really allow the agriculture market to accelerate with this technology. The other part of it is the regulation. And credit where due, the Civil Aviation Safety Authority and Air Services Australia are doing some amazing work behind the scenes to really get this technology into the hands of landowners. And it's through those progressions in the technology and in the industry that will enable the community like the agricultural sector. And there's other communities out there that have and will be impacted, delivery services, construction, so on and so forth. Now, what I present here in my next slide is the best part of what I see as the 2030 vision for the drone and robotic market. So some of us might be exposed to the satellite market and what it's got available to us. There's satellite images that are taking a photo of the ground. You then have an airborne drone being tipped off by the satellite image. that drone identifies that, yes, there's something going on there on the ground and something that is really of a defect or of an issue. But then what then occurs in this tip and cue model, and we call it the tip and cue model, satellite tipped off the drone then tips off a land-borne robot, and it's things like our pieces of equipment and pieces of solutions that will be able to enhance our community. And that's where we talk about the why in drones. We want our people and our families to work in a qualitative space. Now, I'll give you a perfect example. You've got a surveyor that works on a mine, and that surveyor is operating a drone. Now, I ask everyone that question as to why is the surveyor operating the drone? Why not doing their jobs as surveyors? Now, it's this automation space where the people that we are surrounded by will be utilised in a situational decision-making process. Now, it's not removing people from the farm. It's actually putting people in an environment that's leveraging their skill sets and what they've gone to university for. It's leveraging the people and putting them closer to their families, in their houses. You don't have mum who's waiting for their husband to come back from the rear of the property every day. And it's technologies in this tip and cue environment that's going to enable these technologies to become more efficient and more effective on our properties. Now, meet John. Let's just roll it back a little bit. So John and his son Ben went to boarding school, brought a drone home. That drone quite quickly turned into an environment that John started checking his hay, he started checking his water troughs, he started using this technology to enable his environment. And John himself has 2 properties, right? He's 2 of 83,000 properties in Australia, and he is using this technology to now fly the site. If we have a look at the second property, it's the best part of 500 kilometres away. Being 500 kilometres away, what does that drive look like? Over the course of the year, John saves 100 days purely by using this technology in a box and being deployed in an autonomous state. But that's John and Ben. Now, there are a range of other augmentation challenges that we're working with today, and agriculture has so many. And what I've got here above me is just some examples. Now, some of us may be aware of the applications of crop spraying, multispectral imaging, orchid picking, but I'm not too sure if some of you have seen some of the pest control initiatives that the government are rolling out, specifically around bull ant mounds. You've got drones that are flying over our community, checking for bull ants because of their impact on our community. Now, all these technologies have different ways of being utilised, but it's through this framework where people like ourselves utilise this technology, and it's through the use case. So what's the problem, what's the challenge? And we've got a thought exercise for you all to take away at the back end of this session. But what are the existing methodologies? How is there risk in and amongst the work that we're doing on our day-to-day? But then how do you actually apply this technology to this? Perfect example is in the biomass space. Now we've spoken about carbon and the carbon credit space. In the next 20 years, that space is going to grow by 100 times. Drone takes off out of a box, flies over a bamboo plantation, and is giving that live, accurate data feed back to your net zero platforms that are supporting your organisation's ability to give transparency to your supply chain. And it's through examples like that where you've got a use case, you've got the applied technologies, and you've got an operational framework. Now, some of you have seen Spot during today, and I'm going to welcome to the stage alongside my colleague, Stephen. Now, Stephen is our technical sales engineer within our business. He's been with our business for the best part of a year and a half, and I welcome Stephen to the stage with Spot. So, Stephen, tell me, why does Spot have 4 legs, and what's the value of that?
So we might have seen many traditional wheel and track-based robots, whether it's on site or in industry. However, these types of robots fail to navigate difficult types of terrain and might become stuck relatively easily. So from Boston Dynamics, we've got a quadruped robot, which enables us to navigate any difficult types of terrain. We saw this morning navigating the staircase, but on site, navigating different mounds of different material, whether it be sand or soil. We also talk to the robot's mobility, so why 4 legs? It's a very stable platform, and on site it may get knocked about. So even when it does get knocked about, it will restabilize itself. So the intelligence is built in there.
Awesome. Thanks, Stephen. And what happens when, because obviously our environment's full of obstacles, what happens if something falls in front of it or operates in front of it? I'm going to stand here. Why don't you show everyone what happens?
So the robot's got some intelligence built into it, like I mentioned, and that's its obstacle avoidance feature. So I'm just flat sticking straight towards Paris, and the robot is avoiding him. It's not going. It's going around by itself essentially.
And look at that. So what we've got here in front of us is a quadruped robot that is completely capable of performing all sorts of different activities. Now, Stephen, why don't you talk to us a bit more about some of the use cases? I know we've rolled out a few use cases across Australia. Why don't you tell the crowd a little bit more around how we've rolled out use cases?
The particular use cases with Spot that we implement and deploy all the time are usually just simple visual inspections, thermal inspections, but also acoustic and sound leak detection. So the human ear can't, unfortunately, hear everything. That would be quite nice. But on site, you will be able to pick up whether you do have any sort of sound or gas leaks. And they're just some examples of the use cases for Spot.
Can Spot sit? There you go.
He's been very well trained.
So ask the question, if you ask a Kelpie to sit, will it sit just like that? But look, what we've got an amazing piece of technology, and what the foundation of this is it's on the foundation of how we've been brought up. At the moment, you'll see Stephen, he's controlling it via joystick. The future of this engagement is that you have a dog in a box, or a dog box, that walks a site on a routine manner. Now, we'll just go into a few more specifications. So what sort of weight can this platform carry?
Yeah, so you mentioned the word platform, and similar to drones, anything that we see here in yellow, we consider the platform. At the end of the day, it's a fantastic device. However, to capture actionable data and very strong insights, it's about the type of payload that we attach to said robot or drone. And today, this robot can actually carry up to 14 kilograms of weight. What we see in front of us here, this specific sort of thermal imaging device is about 7 kilograms.
Awesome. And what we're going to do is we're going to shift to the next slide because we want to send everyone away with some thoughts. Now, with Spot, we've identified that there's some amazing use cases and applications for it. These routine schedule inspections that are quite mundane and quite mundane. But all in all, I want to send everyone away with a framework that we kind of establish as an organisation that can assist organisations to really unlock the capability. And there's a few thought starters to really start this. Now, before I go into that, at the moment in the Australian community, there's 2,358 organisations that have licences to operate drones commercially. By 2040, there's 20,000. So I challenge you all to think, are you part of that 20,000 that's going to adopt this technology? And here are some thought starters. So are there any risks at the moment within your operation that you feel that robotics can support? That's the first one. So it's all about risk. Where do your risks lie? The second one is, what insights can support your operation, and what is a data point from 5 years ago that you wish you had today that could influence a decision-making process? The next one is, what are some mundane tasks that fall into our day-to-day operation? There's a fantastic company called Swarm Farm Robotics that are implementing technology on farms and taking care of those mundane tasks. And then the last one is, what sort of insights can you gain that could turn you into that situational awareness type organisation where at the time where I get called out by the robot, I will go and inspect what I need to inspect. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank you on behalf of Sphere Group for the opportunity to discuss the technology. Thank you.